It's live. Two major hot topic issues that have been circling around recently: critical race theory in schools and the southern border crisis. Both topics the Democrats like to pretend just don't exist. But it's something my next guest isn't trying to sweep under the rug at all. With me is Bob Burns. He's running for Congress in the state of New Hampshire. Bob, let's start with the border. Title 42 is expected to end very soon, and already we have seen an increase in border crossings. Our own Ben Berquam reports every day on how border control is overwhelmed and they don't have enough resources to handle the situation. First of all, thank you for being here. What do you make of it?
Well, I've got a unique perspective. I've spent a lot of time south of the border, both in Mexico and Panama, which is kind of a choke point for a lot of the illegal immigrants that come up. And there's groups of people down there trying to entice people, whether it's for financial gain for them or, for their program. Or, of course, the Democrats want to bring more voters here and they want to create this kind of political discourse and then pretend, how terrible it is for a lot of these people. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people coming from Guatemala and Honduras that are, in fact, living terrible lives in absolutely failed states. But we have people also coming here from places like Brazil and countries that are fairly established that are ditching their passports at the border, then claiming asylum. And you've got the Democrats looking the other way, where people are trying to exploit, this massive amount of immigrants coming up. And quite frankly, it's terrible to a lot of these people because they're being told that they're going to be able to get in because Joe Biden's going to let everybody in, and they're giving up stable lives, they're giving up jobs, and they're risking their lives, their families' lives, and their children's lives. They're getting robbed, they're getting raped, they're being trafficked, and all sorts of horrible things that the people down there, trying to recruit them south of the border aren't telling them.
Well, let me ask you this, because it seems to me that you couldn't be this stupid. You couldn't be. I mean, it's quite obvious to anybody that goes to the border, that spends any time at the border, that spends time in Panama and places that you've been. This is an organized effort. There's no real serious effort to stop or curtail or curb what is happening. So therefore, you would have to conclude it is by design. And as many as 18 to 20,000 a day could be on their way soon. It's by design. And why would anybody allow that to happen to their own country? Why would you allow the country to be destroyed unless you had some stake in it, like you're being paid?
Oh, absolutely. And there are people being paid. There's all sorts of social programs up here to take care of these people. And there's money that gets cycled in, and there's corruption. But at the end of the day, many Democrats just want it because they think that those are voters coming in.
Yeah, but they're not. There's the problem. I'm glad you hit on that, because there is the problem. The problem is this. In Texas, in Florida, in Virginia, in the governor's race here just last fall, Hispanic voters are breaking in record numbers to the conservative movement. You know that, and so do I. So their best laid plans seem to be disintegrating in front of their eyes, don't they?
Well, absolutely. And I think it was Joe Biden that warned African Americans that they're going to have to learn how to work with Hispanics because they're coming here in record numbers. But let's face it, many of these Hispanic voters that are voting Republican are here legally. They're established. A lot of them are business owners. They're paying taxes. And those are the Hispanics that are most likely voting Republican. Democrats do believe that a lot of these people, and quite frankly, a lot of them aren't Hispanic. They're indigenous to regions like Guatemala and Honduras. They don't have any Spanish or European blood in them, but they're being brought up here because they believe that they can get them on the social programs and turn them into Democrat voters. But yeah, as we've been seeing with votes recently, that isn't always working for the Democrats, but I don't think that they've caught up to the reality of the situation.